Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to elifemedia.net, powered by Live Music for You. I'm the voice of Roland Bubba Grimes. You can find me Monday nights here on Elife Media, elifemedia.net, as I do the world-famous Roland Grimes show. I have three distinguished guests who are actually doing their debut program this afternoon. They hail from the world of real estate. And I know that 900 million of you people are very interested in real estate, the real estate business, and real estate conversation. And these folks are here to have a conversation with you. So feel free to call in also at 240-455-5934. 240-455-5934. Those voices you hear in the background right now, Kobena and Bonnie. And the mic is picking up everything that they're saying, but I don't think they know it.
Sorry, I thought I was whispering.
But it's so cool.
That's why I was always in the back of the class at school, because I never stopped talking.
Kobena, we're going to put her in the corner and time out. And we're just going to keep things moving now. As we segue into some of this, we're talking about March sales stats for PG County. We're going to talk about the relationship that CBX has with the marketplace. And what I'm going to do initially is let these wonderful folks introduce themselves. Miss Lady to my left, your name. Speak to the people. Let them know who you are.
Bonnie Roberts. I'm a realtor with Team KB Properties of Coldwell Banker.
And I am Kobena Greenlee of Team KB Properties, Coldwell Banker. And Bonnie and I, we do have a new presence here in PG County, or Prince George County, for those of you who are not familiar or not in Maryland. We will refer to it as PG County moving forward. But we also have been doing business in Baltimore City and Baltimore County since last year, into 2015. And so we're expanding into PG County in hopes of spreading our knowledge and sharing our knowledge with the citizens and local residents. And just be your resource for everything real estate. So this is our first entry into pursuing that goal, should I say, for our team. And we are new with Melanie's office, Crofton location. We transferred from Baltimore City, Fells Point, and Melanie so graciously accepted us into her office, and we weren't even a team yet. So I think out of respect for her welcoming us and believing in our dream, she should be our first guest. And so that's why we invited her, because she is the first person who believed in Team KB Properties of Coldwell Banker LLC. So she's going to take the stage now and talk about Coldwell Banker and the office culture, and why Bonnie and I love Crofton Sales Office and why we fit so well into her culture.
Thanks so much, Kobena.
You're
and
welcome.
Bonnie, I'm happy to be here, Roland. Thank you. When I first met the ladies, I was absolutely impressed with their knowledge and their desire to learn. And for me, in my office, I want a culture of education. I think that far too many of us get too busy, or at least we claim we're too busy, and we stop learning. And in real estate, it's important because every day is different and there are changes. It is an exciting world because of the changes, but really you have to make an effort to keep up. And Kobena and Bonnie were all about that, so I was all about them, and that's really how that worked.
Thank you.
You wanted me to talk a little bit about the office culture?
Yeah, please.
So, as I said, my first concern is education, and that I want my agents to be extremely educated. I sold for almost 20 years, and I know what it was like to try to stay up with the information and how critical it is. So I want to impart that to the agents in my office. We look at real estate as a consultative sales, not a retail industry. It is often the largest asset someone has. So we want to approach it with the respect that it deserves. And I think that it is important to understand in a sales transaction, dealing with real estate, the amount of stress that takes place, it is as high as a divorce or marriage on stress charts. So we have to be there for our clients. If we're well educated, then we can spend more of our time meeting their emotional needs and transactional needs, because the transaction is multi-processed and takes anywhere from really 30 to 60 days. And that's once you've located your property. So it is a long process. We get to know you well, and often we end up being lifetime friends and or clients. Our particular office is amazing. I love it. We have 60 agents, and we have a collaborative atmosphere, which you may not expect in a sales environment, but in our environment it is really collaborative. You may think that agents compete against each other, but really it doesn't happen very often, and that allows us to be very supportive. So I love the office. It's a very happy place for me to go every day. And even on the hard days, I walk to my car in the evening thinking, that was just one more great day. So that's how I feel about our office.
Thank you.
Yes.
I feel the same way. I've been in a lot of offices in several different states. And this is the best office by far. There was only one other office, Remax, in Vegas, and I love that broker there too. But she and you have the same passion and display that in the office, and so I thank you for that. But I asked Melanie to also come on and talk about CBX. And CBX is something that I came across just being the nosy person that I am and snooping back in the back office of Coldwell Banker just to make sure I was getting my money's worth. I'm just teasing. But there's a lot of tools that we get in the back office that usually we don't have time to play with because you're so busy dealing with your own clients. And so Bonnie, partnering with Bonnie, has given me or provided me with the opportunity to take advantage and research those things in the back office while Bonnie's fighting in the field for us. So I thank you for that, Bonnie.
Thank you.
And so you want to talk about CBX?
Sure. CBX is a proprietary piece of software, and it is amazing. It's just changing agents' ability to predict because of the analytics that are used. And to give you an idea of how it works, it's for instance, I was renovating my bathroom recently, and I did spend some time on the internet looking for bathroom vanities, and then I had long since purchased a bathroom vanity, and they're still popping up on the right side of my screen when I logged in. So those are tracking analytics, and that's really what CBX does. It will track analytics for an area. So let me describe a scenario. So Bonnie and Kobena are in your home, and you're talking about listing your property. They can put your address in, and they'll work with you to do the data stats on your property. And then at that point, they will, once they have the data points, and in CBX an algorithm is run, and then it will show the 3 highest likely counties that your buyer will come from. It may seem strange, and it may seem a little bit like Big Brother, but it's really what's been happening every day when you're on the computer. And Coldwell Banker has a piece of software now that can capture that. So that will allow Bonnie and Kobena to sit with you and discuss the counties, and then with their internet presence, that will allow them to market to those specific counties. It looks at amazing data. It looks at the size of the family, the average income, what recreation activities they tend to do, and then you can put all of that data together to determine where your buyer is coming from. So it's really big data, but you have the local expertise of the agents. So big data with agents who know the market. Because the downside to data is that it strictly is that. It doesn't allow you the knowledge base. For instance, it can tell you the square footage of a house. It can tell you the number of rooms. It's not going to tell you the condition. It's not going to tell you that it's extremely dated or that it's extremely updated. And those both of those issues mean a lot to buyers. So that's where your agent is so critical to help take the data and then give the local expertise and knowledge. So that's really how it works.
Yeah.
And a really fun story is that one of our agents just used it a couple of weeks ago in a listing presentation, and he was a little bit shy to tell the seller where the highest, that there was like a 70% chance that the buyer would come from this county, and he was really confused because it didn't make sense to him. So when his seller saw that information, she was so excited. She said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that you know that, because 3 of the last people that have come to our company have come from that particular county. So they're moving into our area, and we just didn't know that." So it was an absolute home run.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He walked out of there amazed too, and no longer shy about it.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to
It
learn
was
about that.
confirmed.
yes.
We're going to have some classes on it.
Yeah, I was going to
Good.
say.
Yes, we'll do
That
some
would be
classes.
good.
Yeah, we have tutorials, and I do have an instructor coming in because I think we all need to know more about it.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Well, we appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you for hanging out with us and our craziness. You can stay. If you want to stay,
Sure.
please
Happy to
do.
stay.
Good, because you could join in and
Okay.
chime in our discussion about the statistics of the market.
Okay, happy.
So, I just want to share with everybody my crazy history of how I've come along in this real estate world. It's so crazy because I didn't even realize how long I've been in real estate until I was talking to my mentor, Aubrey Tucson, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and he reminded me that he had a client that I had helped her with her short sale before they even called it short sales. And this was in 2004.
Oh, before, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the market was good.
Right.
Everybody was, but Aubrey and I were REO agents in Tuscaloosa, and we were in the trenches when nobody wanted to be because it wasn't hip, and there was perceived that there was no money in the, so he was the one that the banks were sending the BPOs, and I, with my accounting background, because my first profession is accounting, and I followed under my mother's footsteps and kind of weaseled my way in as a clerical accounts receivable staff accountant. I got bored with that, and real estate became my passion. But I used that knowledge of accounting with learning the BPOs for it was just me and Aubrey. And so with him and I, we learned how to perfect the BPO game. So they kept sending us more and more BPOs, and that's how we were building it up. And
Now, for people who don't know what a BPO
oh, I'm
is,
sorry.
you should
It's
probably
a
tell them.
broker price opinion is a BPO. I apologize. Thank you. And that is basically when a lender reaches out to a real estate agent and says, we know you're not an appraiser. However, you have access to the data, comparables, and things that you need in order to tell us your opinion on the market, on what we can price this house for and what you think you can sell it for. And then they even want you to break it down in 30, 60, 90, 120 days, depending on the market that you're in. And so that is the data that we would pull for them and put it in a report form and send it out. And this is when, 2004, where you really didn't have BPO classes.
I was gonna say that.
You didn't have anything. So it was me and Aubrey just figuring it out. And he was a militant, I wanted him to be on the show, but he's too militant because he is just like, we're going to do this. And I'm just like, no, Aubrey, you got to be patient. So, but Aubrey is a funny soul because he's one of those that you get in and you just figure it out, and we do our research. And he liked to do all kind of stuff. We'd be out in, Tuscaloosa, back in the country, and we'd be doing BPOs on land where they didn't even have posts. for electricity. And
Really?
we'd look at the maps. And good thing he knew how to read the coordinates, because I didn't know how to read the coordinates. And he'd be like, okay, I think we go here and here. And it'd be like 7 o'clock at night. We'd be coming back through the hills and be like, Aubrey, where do you have me at? And we just, I was just his little real estate protege, and Aubrey just taught me everything about real estate. I really got all my knowledge from Aubrey, and so I developed that knowledge of real estate, and then the market turned, and he was paying me, so I had to figure out other ways to make money, and I wasn't confident enough because I was shy to go on my own to talk, but there was this one lady that I forgot about that I helped, and he reminded me because we were talking about the real estate show, radio, and forming the team, and I was like second guessing myself. He was like, you got this. He said, you remember back in 2004, you helped this lady out, and I forget her name. He's like, I just ran into her. And she was one of the BPOs that we had to go visit and do. And she was losing her house.
No.
And she was sick. And she was literally almost, dying. She couldn't work. She was on disability. And I felt sorry for her. Every time we'd come back, I'd just almost cry. Like, I can't believe this is going on in America. Because I came from San Diego. So I didn't have no knowledge of poverty in this level of where people were taking their houses for them. And this lady, she was trying, she just couldn't pay. And so I wanted to fight this bank. It's really why I learned how to do this. And so I told her, I said, I don't know what I can do, but I'm going to research what I can and try to help you. And he reminded me of this, and we saved her house.
Oh, wow.
She's still in her
That's
house.
awesome.
Now.
Wow.
She's still in her house. We saved her house to where she could sell it because there was something wrong with the house where she had to repair it. And so Aubrey was connected because he knew investors and stuff. And we saved it to where we stalled the bank to where we could find an investor. The investor bought the house,
Oh, wow.
and we helped her get another house. So she didn't go into a rental situation. She
Right.
bought.
That's awesome.
Because she was like 55 years old. And do you know that lady ended up having a heart attack in between all of that and had triple bypass surgery?
Wow.
And she survived, but I remember going to the hospital. And it was during Thanksgiving time, and just bringing her food, because that's the type of person Aubrey was. He was like, let's go to the hospital and bring her stuff. And I was like, okay. And, I was just, every time I just, we're going to help you. Just stay positive. Stay positive. I'm telling to shut up, Lee. So that is what he reminded me to say that, I've been in this since at least 2004 in the trenches, and I got my license in 2003. So with that, I just started, the confidence and say, I've been in this for a long enough time to where now is the time. So I'm thankful for Bonnie because, that's where the team was formed with that confidence, that I'm able to draw on my experience of just not one, but several instances like that over the years, especially when I started negotiating short sales for real in Vegas, and worked for one of the top short sale agents there, Jared Jones. And, now it's time for me to branch out and not be shy. And so that's why I'm just going to, fly, and Bonnie's going to fly with me, and we're going to be successful.
Yes.
And so now I want her to share where she comes from, because I never knew how successful Bonnie was in insurance until she said something to me that made me say, oh, I know you have it in you. So I want you to share that.
Insurance?
Weren't you in insurance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in insurance for a while.
Insurance is a hard business.
Yeah, it is. But I was on the claims side of it.
It's still hard.
I dealt with medical malpractice claims for 5 years.
Yeah, that's
So,
a hard business
yeah.
to be in.
It was a lot. Stressful.
Yeah.
So I come from stress.
Yeah.
But what's nice, what the theme I'm hearing from both of you is that you both have been in positions of advocacy for others.
Yes.
And really that's what real estate is, advocating.
It really
for your
is.
buyers and sellers. And that seems to come very natural to both of you.
Yes. And that's really where my passion comes from, in real estate. It's just the fact that I can help someone.
Right.
I can help if they have a problem with their home, like you were saying, assist in helping them save it or sell it. Either way, it's a positive outcome. So that's where my passion for real estate comes from. And I've only been in the business for 2 years, a little over 2 years now. I've always wanted to for many years. I just didn't have the opportunity, and it presented itself. So I went for it, and I decided to, this is what I'm going to do. And
she's a natural hustler, so I'm excited for her to be my partner.
yes.
And our goal is to build our team and expand in DC. We want to get our real estate license in DC. All right, so we're back on, and we decided that we're going to talk about what's going on in the market, real estate today. What are we seeing right now in the market as we speak? And one of the main things that Melanie, who's the broker, she oversees all of the transactions in our office. And how much would you say on a monthly basis do we have? Do you know that off the top
On
of your head?
multiple offers?
On how many transactions we deal with in the office?
In the office, we do probably 45 to 60 a month.
Okay.
That's a lot of transactions
is.
to oversee. And what she had brought up is a good point of there's a lot of multiple offers going on in the market. And what multiple offers means is that you have several different buyers who are interested in one particular house. And so one or two offers is fine, but where it gets really competitive is when you have, 3 and 4. Sometimes even in previous markets I've had experience in, we had 10 to 15 offers at one time. And at that point, as a buyer, you really don't have negotiating power. Right, Melanie?
It's really tough, and I was going to share that at the height of the market years ago, before our crash, I had 11 offers on a condominium, and friends would say, "Oh my gosh, this must be great for you." And I said, "No, really, it's not, because it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
It really is heartbreaking for buyers." So one of the ways that I helped as an agent, my sellers understand the multiple offers, is I would create a spreadsheet. You, with your financial background, you probably love that. So I would create a spreadsheet and show each offer on the spreadsheet so that we could compare
The terms.
the terms and conditions,
Okay.
terms and conditions, because
That's
it's
what we
not
do.
always
Yep.
it's not always the most money,
Right.
because the seller really is looking at their bottom line.
The net.
Yep.
It's the net.
They're looking at the net and their inconvenience or convenience.
And that's a good point that you bring up, Melanie, because, when you're working with buyers in this market, that's one thing that they have a hard time comprehending is that, I don't want to put more than what they have it listed for. But, as your agent, we're, charged with the duty to advise you properly. And if we're seeing in the market that other properties are getting, 5 and 10 offers, we're going to advise you to look at the comparables. And it may be that number, that range that we provide you is higher than what the listing price was. Because strategically, the listing agent may have priced it lower to create a competitive bidding situation.
And we do see that happening.
Because I do that.
Oh. So apparently we're going to see that happening even more.
That is a negotiating strategy, because you want to show your seller that you're doing the best that you can for them in this market.
So one of the things I talk to buyers about when you're writing an offer and you're in a competitive situation, say there are multiple things to consider. And we go through, like we were talking, you mentioned earlier, the terms of the offer, and try to determine. It's always wonderful to talk with the other agent, the cooperating agent, because they have information that is pertinent. Like, what are the real needs of the seller? When do they need to move?
Right.
Where are they moving? Are they moving far away? And when you know more information about the seller, it helps you construct an offer to fit their needs. So I would never overlook that, that communication.
Right. And a listing agent, though, will not give you that information.
I was going to say, an
Because
uncooperative
They'll
agent, a lot of them are just...
They should be able to give you moving time frame and convenience. You're not-
Okay.
I haven't been able to get agents on the phone. When we were working with, who's that last buyer that we were working with in, well, we don't want to say names anyway.
Right.
But we were working with a buyer in Baltimore, and there was an off. We were getting ready to place an offer or something. It was
a short
showing,
sale?
and I wanted to. No, it was just regular homes, but
Okay.
I usually like to call and ask before I even
Right.
show it.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
where you're at.
Exactly.
And why is it still on the market? Do you have any offers and things of that nature? And what I noticed is that most people didn't want to talk. Just show the property and bring my offer.
Yep.
And so that was kind of challenging. So it's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I would encourage you to keep trying because you will find agents that we don't have to be adversaries. I mean, the goal is to have a successful transaction for a buyer and a seller.
Right.
So sometimes sharing information is helpful. I mean, we are limited because we are representing one of the parties.
Absolutely,
So we are
yeah.
limited by what we can share. But basic information on what is most convenient, and usually that's actually can be found in the remarks.
That's true.
Or in multiple lists on
That's true.
when they're looking to settle. Are they 30, 60, 90 days
That's
out?
true, and that's probably why they were frustrated, because it's like,
Might have
well,
been.
just read your listing. And there's details
Yes.
that I find when you're pulling that, even as detailed as you want to be, if the buyer says, oh, I want to see this, and they tell you at 8 o'clock in the morning, you got to call and schedule and, plan and all that. And sometimes those are the small details that you fail to look at. So you're right. It's right on
So the
there.
market right now is extremely strong.
Yeah.
And buyers need to be aggressive. And by aggressive, I don't necessarily mean always financially, but they need to be aggressive, trying to meet the needs also of the sellers
Right.
while meeting their own needs. And that's the consultation piece that I think agents
Right.
can help with
Right. From the initial buyer's consultation.
on.
That's right. And that's something as a team that we're trying to implement on a consistent basis is, having that first initial consultation with our buyers, where we go over the whole process and what the market is experiencing right now.
Now, I was on a team for 17 years, and
Okay.
I felt it was a very strong environment because we could talk with buyers and sellers, and typically one of us would relate maybe a little bit more, and the other would then take the secondary role and maybe do the work behind the scenes. I also felt like we could address buyers and sellers' needs more because there were two of us,
Right.
just as there are two of you. So if one person isn't available, the other one typically can be.
Yes.
And I felt it was really a strong way to approach the needs of buyers and sellers. And teams are becoming more popular because I think that it is such a time-intensive situation that for a realtor to have any life at all, you need somebody to back you up.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, yeah, because we're always expected to be on.
7 days a week.
7
kinda like
days a
Roland works,
week.
7 days a week.
7
Yeah.
days.
He's the hardest working man in radio. But yeah, I just, that's a good point, because I used to bill myself as the 24, and there's one client that is probably, hopefully she's watching, Raquel, if you're out there. I think she remembers when I used to say that, I'm the 24/7 agent, and you can call me anytime. And, in Vegas, it's a 24-hour lifestyle.
Yes, it is.
So, realistically, you're not showing property at midnight. But if you are in that crunch and a lot of people work graveyard shift and you need to be available. do.
Yeah.
You know, so I would be that 24-hour agent. Here, it doesn't, people don't care. They're just looking at you like, why are you up 24 hours? You're crazy, you know? But in Vegas, it's like, yeah, I need someone that's going to answer their phone at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Having business
Right.
meetings at 2
And I'll
a.m.
say, you remember, I'm not your traditional realtor, so I may be in the casino watching you, you know? No, I'm just teasing. But, yeah, so, you know, gosh, tell me about it. We do have to be on 7 days a week.
Yes.
24 hours. So, but yeah, it's definitely a very competitive market, spring buying market right now. Everybody who is on the fence is scrambling to buy. You definitely should buy if you are planning to be in the area and rent for a long time. You should not be renting. You know, even if the interest rates are going up, you know, over time, it's better to just, you know, put that money in your own home versus.
And that's how I bought my first home. My girlfriend kept telling me every time I paid my rent, she would say, "You like paying somebody else's rent? You like paying somebody else's mortgage? You like helping somebody else make money?" I'm like, leave me alone. I'm too scared. I'm not ready.
Right.
And every month she would give me a hard time. And I bought my first home, and I totally got it. But I was obviously not in real estate at that point.
Right.
And I was frightened. I was just frightened.
That fear. A lot of people have that fear. It's a big commitment.
And I did not have an agent that helped me. So I think that's one reason it took longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're definitely on the fence and you know this is where your family is, this is the time. You need to, you know, reconsider because, you know, there's no obstacle that us as agents have not seen our clients try to overcome. So, you know, no matter the feat, if you have credit issues, we have people that can help you with that. If you have a question that you need to ask a lender, we have lenders that we can refer you that will be more than happy to, you know, do a soft pull on your credit and, you know, advise you on, hey, you're not ready to buy right this minute, but 6 months to 8 months down the line, you should. But you should never discount the possibility of being able to buy your home because only the lender or the bank can tell you no. Because there's so many people that I come across. I don't know if you experienced this.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say there's money out there for first-time home buyers.
Right.
And they can work with lenders.
Right.
So it's amazing. And I do think owning a home just makes, I believe,
sense.
Let me just say for me, it made me feel even more of a part of a community. My investment was deeper in the community, not just in a home, but just in the community at large.
And you have more of a say. Your voice is heard more because you are an investor in that community. You know, so, you know, council meetings, you're not saying I'm a renter, I'm a tenant.
Right.
I am a homeowner and I am concerned about the things that I'm seeing in my community. Your voice will be heard a lot more louder if you are from an ownership standpoint because you're a taxpayer. Your dollars are contributing to the, you know, development and progress of that community that you've purchased in. So, you know, that saying that we always hear our grandmother, you know, I was raised by my grandmother, so I'm always going to say what my grandmother says. But my grandmother always told me it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what that means. You know, it's not literal about the child, you know, but it takes a village in the community. Everybody has to, you know, be investors in our community for us to be able to improve it. And so buying a home is what allows you to be an investor in that community.
I like that a lot. And I think that's beautifully said. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. And so that's why I got into real estate, actually, is because my grandmother always dreamed about being a realtor. And she told me that. And I actually sold my first home when I was like 10 to my aunt. My mom's twin. I
Really?
referred her. I was the referring agent. I just didn't know it
10?
then at 10. So I think we have 5 minutes, so I have time to tell this quick story. But I was my grandmother raised me, and she always was trying to find little stuff for me to do, and so she used to drop me off to this little church community of little children's church, youth church. So it was a youth church that I went to, and there was this Filipino lady. And the reason why I say Filipino is because I loved her spirit and spunk and her accent. And I remember her telling me, "I'm a realtor, honey. I'm a realtor." And she had her little outfit on. And she was just as cute as could be. She's like, "I'm a realtor." And I said, "Oh." She says, "And I sell homes. And if you know anybody that wants to buy homes," and she gave me her card, she said, "I'll give you $500. And I said, $500? That's a lot of money. And so I went home to my grandmother and I told her, "This lady wants to sell a home, and my aunt Dawn is trying to buy a home." And I don't know whatever happened with that, but I remember telling her about this home, and I believe, and I'll have to call her again and ask, but I believe she bought that home from that lady.
Really?
Yeah, and she's been in that home. She still owns that home.
So at 10 years old, you were putting agents and buyers together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't
Pretty
even
good.
know
Yeah.
that I was
You're
supposed
exactly
to be a
where you're
realtor.
supposed to be.
Right. So I don't even know if I got a referral fee, because this is California. You can pay
I'm thinking
referral
you would
fees.
remember that.
Right.
Yeah, I was too young, but
So the universe dropped you in the right place.
Yes. So I just remember coming home and telling my grandmother that my aunt has to buy a home from this lady, And so, that seeing that lady made me really, really want to be a realtor, and it was always in the back of my mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but I always, in the back of my mind, also knew that it was important to buy a home, and with my grandmother telling me she always wanted to be, and then reminding me of that situation, I pursued my real estate license with the pushing of another boss too. And when I got in, it was just another thing, but my main point was to help people, educate them on, home ownership and how it's not hard to overcome. And that's what I thought. It was hard. Oh my gosh, you bought a home? Oh my God, you must be just an amazing person. You figured it out. So I want to help people, and that's what I hope, our team goal is to be the realtors that spread our love of real estate through helping people. And it's never about the money for Team KB Properties. We may be broke and not be able to pay our bills, but it's not about the money. Because as I'm sitting here, I'm hoping I paid all my bills. No, I'm just teasing. But, it's not about the money for us, because, we want to do this with love, and we want to make sure that all of our clients are knowledgeable. And that may be us not agreeing with you, but at the same time, we're doing our job by advising you on the multiple offer situation in the market, advising you on the importance of, making sure you don't purchase anything while you're in the process of, buying a home, because that's happened to me too.
Really?
In the middle of a transaction, someone went out and bought a car, and that's it. Your
no.
transaction is over.
Yeah.
So, those are the things as agents that we help you with. It's not that you can't find your own home. That's not what we're here for, because Zillow, Trulia, Craigslist will help you with that, because you bring your homes to us. But we're happy to send you a list of homes, but really where we add the value is by providing that real estate resource to you, so that we could draw off our tools, our data, our too much data that you need for us in order for you to make an educated decision on the dollar amount that you're going to place your offer, because we can't tell you the exact dollar amount. We have to give you a range, and then you draw off your own, information and make your own decisions. So we're the facilitators of the transactions. We're not general contractors. I'm not a carpenter.
And we're not lawyers.
And I'm not lawyers. I cannot advise you on the contract. If you have questions, you got to consult a lawyer if it's detailed in the contract. If you're worried about mold, you need to go get an inspection. I can't tell you that. Those are things that I am not, here for. I'm here to be your real estate resource as far as, what to do in certain situations, what the market is, so you can make an educated offer, the information on what you need to do, how you secure a mold inspector and things of that nature, why you need a home inspection. So that's what Bonnie and I are here for. So reach out to us. Our information is online. Our website is not live just yet, but I'm being segued out. And this is just the first show. We're going to have many. We're going to have a series of the home buyer process. So it's going to be a 9-step series, a 9-part series of taking you through the whole process of buying a loan. What's your first step? All the things that you need to do all the way up to closing. And then every year we may contact you after that. We'll just be your real estate stalkers for life. But anyway, thank you for your time. I will be posting on Team KB Properties of Coldwell Banker Facebook. We have an Instagram. Check us out. Snapchat. Bonnie's going to be Snapchatting and going to all the new homes. And, we're going to be out on the ground because we know you guys can't do it all the time yourself. So I'm Kobena.
Bonnie.
And Melanie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Melanie will be back too.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Have a good day.